Dímelo mi gente, Miklo 1% reportándose de la bóveda secreta. Out here in Virginia, un día bien fresco hoy. Low of 32 degrees today. We out here working on the bike. About to get this battery charged, throw it in there, take her out for a ride, bro. But listen, I wanted to do this video, speak on a subject that I had a very interesting discussion with a brother of mine the other day, boss of a pretty heavyweight club out there, man. We were talking about this subject and, we both came to the same conclusion. And the subject is this idea of protocol and the fact that it is unwritten, right? It's not written down anywhere. This idea of forced protocol between clubs, by clubs, it's not written down anywhere, right? It's all word of mouth. I think everybody can pretty well agree on that. It's not written down. How could it be? It's illegal. How could it be written down? If it was to be written down, the way people are out there enforcing it and practicing it, it would be used later in a court of law to convict club members. It's illegal, right? So it's not written down. It's all by word of mouth. And yet there are still people out there that are diehard fanatics of this idea of protocol, right? Let me ask you this, and this is the conclusion me and my bro came to the other day. If you were thinking of joining a club, my club, for example, okay, and you love our club, you love what you see, and, you start getting to know us, and you ask about bylaws, right? When will I be able to see you guys' bylaws? Well, we don't have our bylaws written down. We don't write anything down. It's all up here. But don't worry. I'll let you know as you break them. You'll get it. You'll find out everything you need to know, but we don't write anything down. None of it's written down. No bylaws, nothing is written down. It's all up here. It's all word of mouth. Don't worry about it, right? Would you join a club like that? Would anybody want to join a club where the president is sitting there saying, we don't have our bylaws written down, but I know them all. Trust me. You just got to learn to trust me. When it comes to the rules, I'll let you know. Nobody would join that club, man. Rules have to be written down so that you can either use them for or against whatever it is you're trying to do. You know what I mean? They have to be written down so that people can stick to them to the letter. Otherwise, it opens the door for people to make shit up as they go, which is exactly what is happening with this so-called protocol. You get a different version depending on who you talk to. You know what I mean? I think everybody can agree on that. You get a different version of protocol depending on who you talk to. And even all these protocol gurus will be the first to admit that they don't know everything. It's different everywhere you go. It's fucking, this is different than that. This area is different than that area. Everything depends on who you talk to, the club you're dealing with, the area you're in. And ultimately it's all word of mouth, and it opens the door for people to make it up as they go, which is exactly what happens. Some club gets enough numbers and they declare themselves the dominant. Man, I have dealt with so many different clubs that claim to be the dominant of the same area. It's ridiculous. That's a common thing. From what I've seen, it's a pretty common fucking thing out there. That people declare themselves people declare their own ownership of an area, right? So it's a system that is designed to fail in so many different ways, man. And I do understand why people embrace it. A lot of people in this culture are coming from the military, right? It's a culture that in large part, you know, the military has always ran parallel with 1% MC culture in the United States. It's always been a huge part of it, right? The dudes that first stood up and rebelled against the AMA, veterans, a lot of them, right? So it's always been part of the culture of the military. And in the military, you know, it's like that movie Jarhead, when he's talking about going through, you know, mental problems and you know, homesick and your wife cheats on you. He's talking about how in the manual they have how to deal with that shit. Wife cheats on Grunt. Grunt seeks counselor. Grunt masturbates or whatever. You know, I forget how it goes, but that's what he was doing. He goes through this list of things you'll find in the manual, right? And that's typical military mindset. Everything is laid out, and a lot of guys need that structure, right? In life in general, they need that fucking structure, and that's why they cling to this idea of a detailed list of rules and protocol between all clubs like a fucking security blanket. But the thing is, it doesn't jive with what this culture was built on in the first place. This culture was built on the idea of, basically it's very similar to anarchism. Anarchy and 1% MC philosophy, you know, parallel in a lot of ways. Anarchism, and the 1% MC philosophy both have this idea, are based on the idea of free grouping individuals, right? Okay? The freedom to build or choose the group or family or club or whatever you want to call it of your choice, and within that group, family, or club, the freedom to come up with whatever rules you as a group deem appropriate under whatever process you deem appropriate as a group. And the idea is that as long as you as a group are not harming anybody outside your group or infringing on anybody outside your group's freedom, then you should be left alone to govern yourselves, right? And under that structure, everybody can live in harmony and happiness, you know, because you're not having other people's rules imposed upon you. The only rules that are universal etiquette and respect. And that's what I believe we in the MC world need to start embracing. Universal etiquette and respect, rather than this idea of, you know, some list of unwritten rules under the threat of violence. Universal respect and etiquette, okay, is things that anybody and everybody can easily embrace. Don't steal my possessions. That's universal respect and etiquette. Don't steal my possessions off of my property. Don't mess with my significant other. Don't mess with my immediate family. That's universal respect. Anybody and everybody can embrace that type of shit. Whereas this idea of protocol is far more detailed, and it imposes things upon other groups that have not signed up to follow those things. Such as, okay, this county now belongs to me and my club. If you're gonna be in this county, you need our permission. If you're gonna ride motorcycles in this county, wearing patches, you need our permission. Not only do you need our permission, but we may very well put you on a waiting list. You may have to wear t-shirts for a year. You know, that's the idea of so-called protocol out there right now. And the thing about it is, anybody that comes up with enough numbers and strength can just roll in and declare themselves the new owners. And if they're strong enough to take it from whoever's already there, it is what it is. And what ends up happening too, and I've seen this myself many times, is you'll get so many groups in an area declaring themselves dominance, nobody knows what's what. Everybody is the dominant, you know. Everybody declares themselves the so-called dominants. They all come up with a different list of rules, and nobody's safe in that scenario because you get your little blessing from so-and-so, and then so-and-so's enemies are now your enemies. So now you're worse off than you were before. Now you just signed up for some of the most dangerous enemies in the state, you know. So it's, I could sit here and go on all day long, man. It's a system designed to fail. Whereas universal respect and etiquette is something everybody should be able to embrace. Basically, what it boils down to is don't ask anybody to do anything that you wouldn't want them asking you to do, right? If you wouldn't want somebody declaring ownership over the place you live and saying you need our permission to be here and wear patches, then don't do it to anybody else. Simple etiquette and respect is something we can all embrace. You don't mess with my wife, I won't mess with your wife. You don't steal my motorcycle, I won't steal your motorcycle. Stay the fuck off my property, I'll stay the fuck off yours, you know? These are things that everybody can embrace. That's the difference. So that's the message here is, you know, as members of clubs, we all should take a hard look at what we're doing, because in the end, it's only hurting ourselves, right? We think that we're helping our culture. We think that we're helping our clubs by doing these things. You know, we think that we're helping our clubs by saying, you know, we have to regulate our area. We can't just let any old scumbags put on patches around here because then they'll fuck it up for the rest of us. See, we think we're helping our clubs and our culture and everything else, when in actuality, we're hurting our clubs and our culture. Because ultimately, it's illegal. It's illegal to be running around out there enforcing this list of unwritten rules that you and your club feel you have the right to fucking enforce out there and regulate on people. And especially if your club has a national structure, a national cabinet, what you're doing is you're signing your national officers up for a prison sentence. A long prison sentence. And when that happens, that is then used by lawmakers to push for new laws. We do have a constitution in this country, yes. It protects us in a lot of ways, but the more it happens, the more we keep committing the same crime over and over again, it gives so much fuel to the fire of these lawmakers that eventually something is going to happen. It's going to give. You know what I mean? Something's got to give. So, you know, we're only hurting ourselves. It's the bottom line. Whereas, and here's the deal. Everything I'm saying here is really nothing new. If you look back and you talk to some of the old school cats out there, they will say that everything that I'm saying is the way it once was. Universal respect and etiquette. Act like an asshole, get treated like an asshole. Be cool, you'll get treated cool. That's universal shit right there. So that's the conclusion. That's the solution. Universal respect and etiquette, not a detailed list of unwritten rules and regulations made up on a whim by whoever's got the biggest stick, you know? So that's my word. Much love and respect always. Wish me luck on this freezing ass ride I'm about to go on. Peace.